Hello everyone and welcome to another blueprint video. This is Rakkfalen and today I'm redoing my belt balancers. You may have seen in the past that I did a belt balancer video, and after making that video I went through and tested them some more, had some other people test them, and I found that number one, in my actual gameplay, I wasn't using a lot of them, especially the odd numbered ones. I really wasn't using odd numbers of belts. And number two, not all of them are balanced correctly. So I have gone through and updated my blueprint book. It'll be available in the description. I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about belt balancers because I'm sure some of you are pretty new to this game, so let's start out over here. The main purpose of belt balancers, when you have, say, an ore patch like this one, and you get your ore flowing in, you'll find that you don't always have even belts. So you can see the middle ones here are basically full, whereas the outer edge ones are not getting nearly as much, which doesn't matter a lot unless you're trying to put all of this into separate lines. So for instance, if you've got these 4 lines of ore coming in and you've got 4 lines of furnaces that you're feeding this into, the middle ones are going to be completely full of ore and they're going to be running overtime, when the external ones, or sorry, the outer ones are going to be basically empty and just sitting there not doing anything. So you run these through a basic belt balancer, and in the output here you get an evenly spaced amount of ore, and that'll help you to distribute your resources across your entire base. Obviously 4 to 4 is not the only one, although this is one of the easiest ones, save for just 2 to 2, which is just a belt balancer. But I'll just go over what I've got in here really quick, and then I'll talk about why I've included some of them, because I know some of you will have questions. I've included the basic 4 to 4. I'm sure most people know how to build it, but I find it's easier to just have a blueprint so that the robots can drop it down for you. I've also included a 4 to 6. I know not many people use 6, but I'll go over in a minute why I've included this one. I've also included this 4 to 8. Most people, including myself, use this 4 to 8. The downside with this 4 to 8 is that if you have only one input going, or only one is really feeding it, it's not going to balance across all 8 belts. It's only going to balance across half of them. So that doesn't really help us. This one, if we copy this down here, this one will balance it evenly across all 4 belts. And you'll see once it stacks up here, this full belt of input is going to be a full belt of output all the way over here on the other side. So no matter how many outputs you have, it will balance evenly and it will feed evenly, as shown there. I've also included a 6 to 6 balancer, which again I'll go back to the discussion about 6s in a moment, but let's talk about what else is in the blueprint book first. I've got some 8 to 8 balancers here. I know some people have seen this one before. I don't take any credit for designing this. This one has been around the internet for a while. This 8 to 8 balancer is great. It works really well. It balances completely evenly. The downside is if you're using red or yellow belts, anything that's not a blue belt, you can't get all the way across it if you're trying to run something under this belt. So what I did was I took this blueprint and I split it in the middle, and I did a little bit of weaving here to make it work so that with yellow or red belts you can now run a line of something else through this blueprint without having much of a problem. And then I went a little crazy. I took these two and I went, what if we go bigger? What if we do 16 to 16? So this one over here, you can see I took this 8 to 8 and I dropped it in here and dropped it in there. And then I put one in the middle to balance the middle 8 lanes, and one over here that takes the left of this lane and the right of this lane, balances them, and then puts it back over and balances it one more time. So just like the little ones up here, if you were to run one line in here and all these lines were to back up, you'd still get one full line out here. It's completely evenly balanced. And then, similar to what I did here, with breaking the lines apart so you can run belts under it, I took this kind of H-shaped balancer and I made a second 16 to 16. So you can run belts under this one in the middle of your base. This gets a little bit messy in here, but basically what I did here was I took this H balancer, put the left half of it on this side and the right half of it on this side, and then did the opposite in the middle. So it is actually balancing all of the left and all of the right across each other through the middle. It is a little messy. Somebody who's better at belts than me might be able to clean that up, but for now, that's how it works, and it is also completely evenly balanced. So the one question left, I believe, is the 6s, because I know not a lot of people use 6s, but here's why 6s are important. When you are loading or unloading a train, a lot of people use this design, which is not a terrible design. It will fill up the train, but as you can see here by the belts and by the chests, it doesn't actually feed evenly. When you feed in 2 full belts into this balancer, half goes into each of these. And then from there, 1/4 goes over here, and 1/4 goes over here. And each of those fourths are split again, so you get an 1/8 coming out on this belt and an 1/8 coming out on this belt. However, when you put half of this one, well, actually, half of that one, so 1/4 of this one in here, and 1/4 of this one in here, this is now getting 1/4 of this total belt, which it should only be getting 1/8. So this one is getting double, which means the middle fills up and the sides are left empty. This one, however, this is the 4 to 6, so you can run as many as 4 belts in here, or you can even use the 6 to 6 if you happen to have that many, and you could run in 8 and split them down. This one fills completely evenly. It will balance them across all the belts, so that way if your trains are coming in and these boxes aren't, you know, backed up and filled up, it'll load it evenly from all of them instead of having some of them be full and some of them waiting for ore or whatever it is you're loading into the train. You can also use these for unloading. I like to use the 6 to 6 and then split it down a little bit, so you get like a 6 to 4. And that is pretty much it for the belt balancers. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you find any issues, let me know and I will update the blueprints. If you have any requests, I'm always happy to take requests, so I'd be happy to make more videos for you guys. And tell me what you think about the 16 to 16s. I don't think I've ever made a belt blueprint this big, so test them out and let me know what you think, and I will see you guys again soon.